Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing the song New Millennium Cyanide Christ. Did I get that right? New Millennium Cyanide Christ by Meshuggah. As usual, the song comes to you as a request from one of my viewers. So if you want to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to add it to my list. And hey, as a fan of metal, it may surprise you. I've never listened to this band before in my life. So I know they're metal. I know they're also pretty big with like in the reactor space, and a lot of music reaction channels will listen to Meshuggah because I've seen their name quite a few times, but have just never kind of sat down and listened to them. So this will be something new for me. Let's go ahead and jump into it. New Millennium Cyanide Christ, Meshuggah. Here we go.
I'm a carnal, organic, and a god, you will fast.
Here's the thing. Did I enjoy that entire song? Definitely not. Were there parts that I enjoyed? Yes, definitely. This song came out in 1998, and I've never heard it. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, yeah, when it comes to metal, and I've said this before, um, my preference, this is just obviously personal preference, is metal that has the screaming, harsh vocals, but also has some like clean singing. Um, Acts like Slipknot, Trivium, you know, um, Mastodon. I mean, you guys have seen me react to metal on here that I've really enjoyed. But yeah, I really enjoy it when an artist can scream and sing, kind of give you both in a single song, even if that is like two different singers sometimes as well. Um, I'm not always drawn to metal where it is just pure screaming. Although I can be. There's definitely some metal songs where it's just pure screaming, no clean vocals, and I'm all about it. This one, I think, what threw me off more than anything were like the maybe differing time signatures. I don't have enough musical knowledge to maybe articulate exactly what was just so hard for me to enjoy, but I think it's because like the guitar is essentially playing like one at one pace, one time signature, I guess, if you will, and the vocals feel like they're at a whole other one, and it feels like never the two lined up, and so it's just kind of like, all right, we're kind of all over the place, I guess, is what it felt like. Again, don't know if I'm using any sort of terminology correctly here, but and I get that like some people can really appreciate that deviation from the norm as like an artistic experiment, as an artistic expression. For me, though, it's like I feel like I still need to be able to like kind of jam out to it, Like I do think that with metal, it is an acquired taste. The harshness of it, the heaviness of it. The heaviness is a part that I really like. Um, but I feel like there's still metal out there that is really fun to listen to, groovy, um, and just like comprehensible while still being heavy. Um, and this to me wasn't exactly that, although there were parts that I liked. So, anyway, let's break it down piece by piece, like we always do, of course, starting with those lyrics, which were really interesting, by the way. So, I'm a carnal organic anagram, human flesh instead of written letters. I rearrange my pathetic tissue, I incise, I replace, I'm reformed, I eradicate the fake pre-present me. Elevate me to a higher human form, the characters I am, made into a word complete, then I'll be the new norm. So I wonder if this is sort of like, talking about like the next step of human evolution or something along those lines. Anagram is a word of phrase that is made up of letters, another word of phrase. And somebody really dove into these lyrics. I'm guessing there's like a paragraph for each one. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna forego that for now and just kind of read into it on my own. Self-inflicted fractures, I replace my bones with bars. Aluminum bleeding oxide, the drug of gods into my pounding veins. So maybe not necessarily um, next form of human evolution. Maybe it is instead replacing your body with like a robot, right? Becoming like an android, if you will, right? Because it says like self-inflicted fractures. I replace my bones with bars, like metal bars, perhaps. Aluminum bleeding oxide. So aluminum, like again, a type of metal that you can build things out of. And it really makes sense when you look at that first verse, right? Like you arrange that pathetic tissue, the thing that makes us organic, right? Uh, and instead of reforming into something that is, again, a higher form, something maybe mechanical. Um, my receiving eyes exchanged with fuses, again, so it's talking about the mechanical, the electrical. Blindness induced to prevent destruction. Ceramic blades implanted past my ribs to save me from the dews of inhalation. I tear my worthless, useless skin, staples to pin it over my ears, non-receptive of ungodly sounds. I disable the audio generators of fear. So again, not only am I kind of changing my body, but I'm getting rid of anything that could be perceived as a weakness, right? Like uh, sight could be perceived as a weakness, right? Um, Breathing, the need to breathe could be seen as a weakness. The ability to hear sounds that elicit fear could be seen as a weakness. So I think that's really interesting. Uh, Hexagonal bolts to fill my mouth, sharpened to deplete the creator of all violence. Without speech, there will be no deceit. So again, getting rid of anything that could be a weakness. Speech could be a weakness because we are able to tell lies and things like that, right? So getting rid of all that. Um, Baptized in vitriolic acid, a final touch, a smoothing of features, completion of the greatest art to cast of godly creatures, humans once astray made divine, stripped of congenital flaws. And there it is, right? Taking out everything that could be seen as a flaw in humans and instead creating it to be mechanical and electrical. We're incandescent revelations in a world of darkened forms. Disciples, come join with me to save a failed humanity. Follow the God of Cyanide into the new eternity. Behold, a sacrificial race in cleansing, worshiping of pain. The new Millennium Christ, here to redeem from all from lies. So yeah, I mean, knowing this was put out like 98, thinking ahead to like what does the future entail, what does the new millennium entail, it's like the new Christ will be essentially a robot, an android, something like that. It's kind of how I'm reading into it. um, or perhaps we will worship technology once we, maybe it's a sort of metaphor for our reliance on technology moving forward. That's just obviously partially me reading into it, but um, that's kind of the interpretation that I'm taking away from it. I'm interested to see what this about section says. It does say the song bio is reviewed, but this person says that somebody from the band, Thomas Hack, I'm not really sure how to say that. He said this about New Millennium Cyanide Christ. That's more of a dystopian take on a sectistic or extremist kind of cult vibe. I remember the inspiration came from suicide cults and stuff like that, where you have one leader that can take hundreds of people and just brainwash them and make them think he's Christ the Savior. Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, essentially that robot, again, that perfect being, that android or whatever, will forego all of its like fleshy pieces and become like a perfect being worthy of being followed. So anyway, very interesting. You can take it definitely from like just a science fiction sort of standpoint there, but I kind of like my interpretation of it as well, that it could be looking ahead to just how much technology might um, rule our lives, and it kind of does rule our lives now, 27 years after this song was released. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think lyrically, I love the imagery here. um, I love kind of the story being told, and again, I like that you could probably take a couple of interpretations from this song, and I always kind of like when artists do that. So, two big thumbs up lyrically for me. As far as instrumentation and vocals go, this is the part where I'm like, man, it was hard. It was a hard listen for me in some places. I like the heaviness of the guitars. Definitely, don't get me wrong. The little instrumental break, where I don't know if we would call it a guitar solo, but that little instrumental break near the middle was really good. It sounded great actually, and it was kind of a nice change of pace. I think in a time in the song that I really needed that to kind of keep going. So I was like, yeah, okay, this is a nice little change of pace. And then the outro instrumentation I thought was really solid too. They kind of mixed up, they changed up the guitar riff on you, and it was kind of like, all right, I'm jamming out. So honestly, like the guitar itself, not bad. I just don't know how well it actually meshed with the rest of what was going on in the song. Um, Not to mention, and again, this is definitely like a stylistic choice, right? But there were like it felt like so often the riff wasn't allowed to breathe. It was like cut off. And again, I know that harshness is part of what they're going for musically. It's just one of those things where I was like, like I feel like I'm not able to like catch the groove, catch the music itself, um, because of that stylistic choice. But instrumentally, I thought it was still pretty good. Like there was a lot to enjoy. Vocally, again, I feel like the vocalist and the guitarist were singing it on two different like time signatures or whatever. But there were times when it kind of all fell into place, And those little moments in the vocal performance, I was like, okay, I'm kind of digging this, right? Like I feel like if it was more consistent, I would have liked it more. But again, I know that they're going for something here stylistically that maybe just doesn't necessarily speak to me. So with all that said, like the instrumentation and vocals were good. I mean, there was a lot to enjoy. It's just the arrangement of it, I guess, is the part that I am not able to kind of grab onto as much as I wish I was. So for that, I'll give it just a thumb up for instrumentation and vocals. As far as replay value goes, you know, I'm gonna have to really listen to this one again, maybe two more times to really feel if I'm really enjoying it or not. Because again, there are parts that I enjoyed. There are parts that sort of took me out of it and made my enjoyment a little less. But you know, it's still not a bad song. So I'm gonna go just like sideways on the replay value. I don't know. This one had like definitely needs a second listen for me to really kind of feel it out. So anyway, hey, that's my review. Let me know what you think. I'm sure plenty of Meshuggah fans will be like, "Man, you're wrong," and hey, I'll take it. You know, just be nice about it. Be respectful about it. But tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, or you know, give me some more suggestions from this band that you think might fall maybe more in line with kind of what I was hoping to hear from them, or that you know is demonstrative of their style even more so. So anyway, all that to say, thank you so much for the person who requested this. As always, if you enjoyed the music, go support the artists, go listen to their music wherever you can. You know, not really sure if these guys are around still, but I'm sure if they are, they would appreciate your support, all that good stuff. As always, if you enjoyed what you saw here on the channel today, consider supporting the channel, like and subscribe, comment, all those good things. They help me out. And if you like, you can even check the description to follow me on Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.